Every time I'm using Teams, I try to delay my speech a little bit, just 2-3 seconds for the video to come on so I don't scare anyone. Yeah, so our conversation today will be very informal. I'm here to understand a little bit better where you are in your career and what makes sense for you next. And then, of course, in the end of the call, I'll give you more information about the company, the role, or any questions you have. Okay, I'll let you introduce yourself and we can go from there. Okay, so whenever somebody tells me that they're a full stack developer, I always like to ask if they like doing that, if they like being a generalist, or if there is a stack that they feel most comfortable with or that they're most interested in working with. All right, no worries. So at Willow, you can choose. You don't have to do it all. If you want to be a backend specialist, you can. If you want to be a full stack generalist, that's welcome. If you want to be front end specialist, we need everybody, all the passions. Yeah. So when I looked at your CV, there's two teams that came to mind that might be a good match for your interests and skills. And so I have some questions to see which one it would make the most sense to move forward to. We have, let's see. We have 5 teams, types of squad based for Australian applicants. And so it is, everybody applies via the same role. And then we just distribute between which team is the priority for hiring, but also which team has the best match with your skills. What has been the latest .NET version that you worked with? Do you have any experience with network protocols? All right. In terms of DevOps, I guess you already mentioned Kubernetes and some of the tools that you use. Are you familiar with... No, sorry, I'm gonna type it here. Oops. There you go. My words. So it's... Don't know if you're familiar with that yet. No worries. In terms of your experience with Docker and Kubernetes, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Docker and Kubernetes. No worries. So what are you looking for next? So if you could choose, seems like you have a preference for backend. What else? Okay. And if you get 2 offers from 2 different companies, what is important for you? How do you distinguish and decide upon them? Sounds good. Anything else that you're looking for? No, just if you have more things to add to the list. And what do you mean by good? What would make a team a good team? Sounds good. Do you have any experience with remote work? Can you tell me a little bit more about it? Did you like it? So in this remote experience, were people in the same time zone, or did you have team members in different time zones? Ah, okay. I guess maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I thought that China was one single time zone. Ah, okay. No worries. I just wanted to understand, because if you, for example, if you're working with a team member that will start 3 hours before you or 3 hours after you, it changes the dynamics. You need to learn to do the proper documentation. So when that person wakes up and when that person starts working, they know What happened? How did you finish? What do they have to do? So it just changes the dynamics a little bit. What have you learned to be some best practices of remote collaboration? Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you give me an example of a situation in which you influence a change? It can be an idea that you present to a superior, or it can be to a client. So I just want to understand a little bit, what was the idea? How did you get people on board with that idea? Okay. So I do have some information to share about Willow, and I'll open up for any questions. So Willow has been in the market for 5 years now. In this time, we've managed to grow the team to more than 300 people globally. So it's been a fast and consistent growth, especially because half of our lifetime has been the pandemic, and that affects just how long the sales cycles go. And so we do expect that now that we are in the tail end of the pandemic, we'll be able to grow even faster. In terms of our tech stack, so in the back end, we are using C#.NET and then tooling to help with big data processing and scalability. So Azure, Docker, Kubernetes microservices. In terms of .NET, so we are using .NET 6, so all after the .NET Core era. For the front end, it's JavaScript and React. And our product is called a digital twin. Have you heard of digital twins before? So a digital twin is our product. What it does is it's a platform, it's a data software as a service that collects all of the data that an asset produces. So data from IoT devices, metering systems, sensors, and it helps with a dashboard or all of this real-time data. So it can help with the asset management. If there is something that is not correct, you will get a system alert. And you can look into it. If it is a problem, or if you want to investigate if it's a problem, you can transform that into a work order and do all of the approvals to make sure that that gets implemented. And then you can also do different simulations with this live data, and especially improvements around energy optimization. Yeah. Do you have any questions for me? What training? Yeah, so in terms of the product, all the training, all the information is very hands-on. We do have a learning portal that you can watch things on your own, but everything related to the business and the work, it will be pairing with somebody, so a buddy, and very much so already doing things. So it's a very practical, hands-on learning. You are given projects according to your skills, and you can be more or less independent according to your skills too. But even juniors, people that don't have any experience with, not any experience because you learn in college. But even if your coding experience is just school projects, you are also learning by doing it. You also will get a project that you're doing real tasks, that you have the support to get it done. Yeah, so we interview groups of people and then send both the notes from the interview and the CV to the hiring manager. And then the hiring manager selects who is shortlisted to the next stage. The process after me, it's very simple. It's 3 steps. One is the C# assessment. There's a test for you to do on your own time. 2, a technical interview. And 3, a manager interview. Do you have any other questions? Okay. If you do get an offer with us, how soon would you be able to start? Are you in Sydney? Okay, so we would need the 2 weeks to ship a laptop and equipment to you. Sounds good. So we'll be in touch via email on the next steps. If you have any other questions, you can also reach out to me. You have my direct email. Yeah, thank you so much for joining the call. Have a good day.